There are many software developers out there making YouTube videos, and this probably has you wondering, why are all these people making content? That's what I'm going to dive into in today's video. Hey, my name is Khan. I'm currently a software engineer at a startup, and I've worked for companies like Sony and Google. And I want to take some time today to explain the rationale behind starting my YouTube channel. Now, this is a bit more of a behind the scenes video than my normal content about coding, so if it's not interesting, please, by all means, skip the video. So, why are software engineers making content? Does coding not pay enough? And is content creation a way to supplement their income? Is it a job searching play that allows them to showcase their skills to potential employers? Is it purely altruistic and people simply want to share their knowledge with the world? What gives? The reasons for starting a YouTube channel varies greatly from person to person. But in this video, I wanted to share my 2 cents on why I saw starting a YouTube channel as a worthwhile venture. Something else to keep in mind is that the core reasons why I wanted to start a YouTube channel are fairly universal. So you might end up bumping up against these same walls eventually in your own career as a programmer. And hopefully this video sheds some light on how you might go about handling those situations. Okay, so here are my 6 reasons why I started this YouTube channel. Reason number 1 is to explore my entrepreneurial curiosity. I am not innately entrepreneurial. I was not selling stuff door to door as a kid. I mostly just like to hunker down in my own room and make stuff. And making stuff generally equates to creating value in the world. And that happens to be a decent baseline to start from as an entrepreneur. And I'm very grateful that I have this tendency. And as much as I like to create things, I've never really felt confident in selling things. And that stopped me from starting my own businesses. I began to develop more curiosity in this business space over the last few years. And I came across this book called The Millionaire Fastlane by MJ DeMarco. And that book really made me take a long, hard look at the relationship between my time and money. You see, most of us work a job and trade our time for money, but the primary person that benefits from our work are the entrepreneurs who own the companies that we work for. And that's because a company can have innate value. Now that value can be negative if the company is unsuccessful, losing cash, and doesn't have any potential. But it can also be very positive if the company is successful, cash flowing, or has perceived future value to investors. In other words, the company itself can be sold for a dollar amount to another buyer. As programmers, we create software systems that work around the clock. We spawn an army of digital robots that work endlessly from our code. And you know who those digital robots are working for? They're not working for us as individual contributors. They're working for the company we created the software for. So the company is the primary beneficiary of our work. As employees, we're paid a flat hourly rate to create immensely valuable software that works endlessly until we shut it off. The company, and subsequently the owners of the company, gets to extract most of the value from our work. Writing code for a company as an employee means that I get very limited amount of upside relative to my contribution value, with the exception of maybe being one of the founding employees of an early stage startup, in which case usually a significant amount of equity is involved. This got me to realize that I should really be in the game of creating valuable assets for myself. And that's one of the reasons why I started my own YouTube channel. While a YouTube channel by itself is not a resilient business, the library of content and audience that you build with that content can help create a valuable business. This leads me to my next lesson. Reason number 2 is to create leveraged assets. There are many assets that are incredibly valuable to businesses. Let me break down 3 of them for you: code, media, and an audience. Code is valuable because it basically creates digital robots that work tirelessly without ever complaining. The cost of duplicating our code and spinning up new servers to handle more traffic is cheap. So, as a business owner, the amount you pay to engineers remains the same regardless of whether your software is used by 1 person or 100 million people. Media is valuable because it can be redistributed at virtually no cost these days through the internet. Mr. Beast creates one high quality video, and that cost of creating that video doesn't change whether it's watched by 1 person or 100 million people. An audience is valuable because it gives you a jump start in gaining the trust and attention of potential buyers. That trust and attention can be converted to dollars by selling a product or service. And honestly, this used to make me a bit uncomfortable. I didn't really like the idea of converting the attention of our audience into money. But there can be an incredible synergy between the audience, the content, and the business. Selling doesn't have to detract from the content. In fact, the better the synergy, the better the business usually. Look at Mark Rober, for example. The stuff he sells through Crunch Labs, toy engineering kits, and his YouTube channel about teaching kids and people how to think like an engineer has perfect synergy. He never has to feel guilty about promoting Crunch Labs on his YouTube videos because it's a natural ascension to go from YouTube subscriber to customer. Posting on social media allows you to simultaneously create media assets and build an audience if done correctly. Every video I create is like one small piece in a library of useful content. a library that's open 24/7 and you never have to check whether something is available to borrow. Those videos never stop working for the creator, and every person that watches the video and finds it meaningful is part of a pool of trust and attention that grows bigger and bigger over time. Reason number 3 is that I wanted to get back to teaching. This is a purely self-serving motivation, but I really enjoy the act of explaining things and breaking down concepts for people. To me, there's nothing more satisfying than having the attention of a room and being able to transcend the audience's attention to a newer, deeper level of thinking. I love when I get to see concepts click in people's heads and their eyes light up. It's honestly one of my favorite feelings, and I got to experience it over and over as a coding bootcamp instructor, but rarely ever as a software engineer. And for the last 6 years, I've been a full-time software engineer for a variety of companies. And while the work has been enjoyable for different reasons, I've come to a point in my life where I want a blend of both teaching and coding. So that's another reason for starting this YouTube channel. I figured, what's the point of life if I'm not doing things that I enjoy? Reason number 4 is to document my knowledge. There was a time when I posted consistently on Instagram as a hand lettering artist. And while my audience was growing and people were engaging with my art, what I loved most about this process was the track record of things that I had created. In the process of creating art and posting it consistently, you could see the clear progression and the increased skill over time. I started with drawing simple 3-dimensional letters, and they were not so great. But as you scrolled up and saw some of my more recent pieces, you could tell that I had come a long way. I love this process of documenting because it allowed me to acknowledge my own progress. It can be so easy to get heads down in our work and forget to look back and just simply appreciate how far we've come. Posting consistently on social media is actually an effective life documentation tool. In a way, it's like a curated public journal, and I like the benefits that that process brings me. Reason number 5 is embracing the internet as a thing to contribute to, not just consume. So I came across a book called Show Your Work by Austin Kleon a few years back, and it fundamentally changed how I saw the internet. The internet, to me, up until this point, had been a place for me to consume information, to learn this or that, to find the stuff fast. And YouTube was a prime example of this. I've used YouTube on a million different occasions for different purposes, whether that was fixing my toilet or learning about graph data structures and traversal algorithms. And you know what? The content is created by regular people just like you and me. The book effectively argues why the internet is a thing to contribute to, not a thing that you solely use to consume information. And making that switch from consumer to creator has been a recurring theme in my life. I did not just want to learn to have good taste in music, I learned how to make it. I did not just want to learn how to have good taste in drawing letters, I learned how to draw them myself. I did not just learn to use apps or have good taste in user interfaces, I learned how to code them myself. So I know this about myself. When it comes to work, I don't like being passive. I want to be an active participant in the making process. And so I figured it was time to change my relationship with the internet itself by contributing my slice of content to it. Reason number 6 is that it's a new creative outlet. So creating videos is an inherently creative process. From lighting, set design, talking to the camera, scripting, writing titles, and creating thumbnails, all of it has many dimensions of creativity to it. And the process of coding, while creative at times, just doesn't have as many of those dimensions. And so making videos is a more effective creative outlet for expressing myself. I've been creating videos for about 3 months now on YouTube, and I've thoroughly enjoyed the creative aspects from the writing that I do, to the title generation, to working with my editor. It's sparked a lot of creative joy in my life that I did not find in coding itself. Okay, so those are the reasons why I decided to start a YouTube channel and a bit of a behind the scenes look into my thought process. I know it's a bit of a break from me from the usual programming content, so thanks for bearing with me, and I hope you found something meaningful in there. Let me know in the comments down below what you thought, and I'll be back with more coding content on the regular. Okay, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.